Have you seen the circular stickers near storm drains around the city? They're the ones that say flows to waterways. In episode 170 of the Love in Lebanon podcast, we dive deeper into the topic with MS4 Coordinator Scott Calvert. Scott highlights issues he's seeing with grass clippings, dirt, and even paint winding up in the area drains, causing significant issues in local waterways. He also shares measures being taken to help educate the public in the hopes of keeping us all safer. Episode 170 of the Love in Lebanon podcast starts now.
Welcome to the Love in Lebanon podcast, highlighting all the great things happening in Lebanon, Indiana. Have an idea for an episode? Send an email to loveinlebanon@lebanon.in.gov.
Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 170 of the Love in Lebanon podcast. I'm Joe LePage, the Community Development Director for the City of Lebanon. It's been a rainy spring into summer, and we thought it'd be a good time to catch up with our good buddy and MS4 Coordinator Scott Calvert here on the podcast. Scott, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Joe.
Now, MS4 Coordinator, that is one of the coolest job title, along with Mayor. That's pretty cool too. But MS4 Coordinator, what does that entail for folks that haven't listened to the podcast that you've been on previously? What does an MS4 Coordinator do?
Well, MS4 is obviously a government acronym, so it stands.
It has to be, right?
Yes,
it has to
exactly.
be.
So it stands for Municipal Separate Storm Sewer System. So yeah, what does that mean? So that means our stormwater and our sewer systems are separate. Our stormwater goes to the creeks while our sewage goes to the sanitation plant for treatment. So what's the key here? The key here is that the stormwater is receiving zero filtration when it goes to the creek.
So when you flush that toilet, it goes one place, goes down the storm sewer when it rains and things like that. Those big drains you see on the roadways, that goes to a different spot. The one that goes to the different spot isn't filtered before it gets into our water supply.
Correct. Our stormwater has no filters on it. So whatever goes into that stormwater drain, trash, leaves, grass clippings, whatever it may be, it will make its way to the creek and the ponds.
And what does this job entail that is so passionate for you? Are you a conservationalist by trade? Is it one of those things? And I'm guessing you've seen some kind of crazy things thrown in our drains, both here and other locations where you've worked also.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, as an MS4, that means that our city has an MS4 general permit, and this is regulated through the EPA and IDEM. So we're required to have this due to the size of our city and the fact that we have a separate storm sewer system. So my passion is also government regulated. So my job is to make sure the city is not allowing anything harmful or pollutants to enter into our creeks and streams. And so I do take that seriously. And
why is that so important? And we kind of talked about sharing this, but 30 lakes in Indiana have some kind of material in them or something, or under a warning of stuff is getting into the drain, and it's causing some issues for us.
That's correct, Joe. I just got this morning from IDEM. I'm on some of their alerts, and there's over 30 lakes today with a blue-green algae warning, which means it could actually make you sick, burn your skin. And this is an algae that's created, heat causes it, but it's also created by having too many nutrients in the water. How do the nutrients get in our water? From leaves, grass clippings, stuff like that, entering into the stormwater stream. Then it gets in the creeks. We get some hot weather, that's what we're heading for right now, and that will create these algae blooms. So the public can help by not letting grass and leaves go into the storm drains.
And everybody, this is one of the reasons why we wanted to have Scott on this podcast episode, because as it gets warmer, you're going to want to go out and not only mow your yard, obviously, here in Lebanon, but chances are you'll want to go maybe go boating or go jump into a lake somewhere and have some outdoor recreation, those types of things. But they can cause some harm and some issues for you, and it all comes back to this MS4 conversation and only the rain in the drain. It is easy to mow that yard, especially if it gets a little long with all the rain we've had this spring and summer. I'll just leave it. I'll leave it in the roadway, or I'll kind of kick it over here to this drain and kind of say goodbye to it, out of sight, out of mind, right? But that's not necessarily the case. It can have some effects in a long-term nature.
And also, the longer grass clogs up our storm drains. And as everyone's noticed, these storms are getting a lot more intense. So we have flooding issues, and we can definitely have localized flooding issue when just one or two storm drains can get clogged. The Public Works Department goes out and tries to clean drains ahead of these storms, but each person can help by keeping the one in front of their house clean and not blowing their grass into the street. It's really a small thing to ask for, I think.
Yeah, I think everybody has seen, during one of these gushers, our roadways become flooded pretty quickly, and that's either a stormwater backup or, like you mentioned, you can kind of see that debris going right to the drain, clogging it, keeping water from going down in there. You're saying not to blow that debris out in the street, but get it out of the way so it doesn't have that effect on us.
Correct.
Absolutely. And how is this stormy spring into summer, how has it affected your job as MS4 coordinator and trying to monitor these things and correct them and maybe have the carrots and sticks, to use the analogy, to be able to have some of these developers we have here locally, whether it be large or small, or just the residential folks? How has that affected your job so far this season?
It's been busy. Obviously, when we get over 6 inches of rain in 10 days, we get a lot of flooding complaints. It's flat here. It's super flat here. I came from the west.
Indiana.
Yes. And so that water has to go somewhere, and it goes into the storm drains, and then it goes into the ponds. The whole purpose of the ponds is to collect that water and then slowly release it into our creeks so we don't cause flooding in the creeks or to our downstream neighbors. So I got complaints that the ponds were full. Well, they're doing their job. That's what they do.
So they fill up and then slowly release
They
it.
fill up, and they're all
Sugar Creek
engineered to release that water at a rate that the creeks can handle. If we drained everything straight into those ponds or into the creeks, then we would have flooding in the creeks, and then obviously the people downstream have flooding, and it just becomes a domino effect.
Gotcha.
So those ponds are the first effort in that to slow that down.
So we're talking about out in the business park, and obviously in the Leap District with Lilly and their massive construction project that's going on. The neighborhoods that are really starting to pop up all around us here. Your job is to go out and make sure that as those things that you're talking about, the water goes where it's supposed to go, into the ponds, and at the same time, items aren't being dumped into our water supply. That part of your job too?
Yes, correct. That's a big part of our job. Is each construction site that's greater than an acre has to have a state permit that controls their stormwater release, and then I oversee those and also provide inspections on those sites. They provide self-inspection, and then I oversee their inspections. And you'll see the silt fence. The silt fence is on the perimeter of the site where it's needed. That prevents silt from leaving the site when it's mixed in with the stormwater. Silt in our streams is a big problem. I can't control the farmers, but I can control all the construction sites. And so we do that. We also make sure that their hazardous chemicals are stored properly. We're trying to keep the mud off the streets. It will happen after a big rain, but they clean it up. And that's one of the enforcements, is making sure they clean up after themselves.
Silt, kind of a same issue or similar issue than the grass clippings and things, all the nutrients and the things that are in the soil getting into our water supply?
The nutrients in the silt. The other problem is the silt will get into the creeks, and it will harm the fish and everything that lives in there.
Gotcha.
It coats their gills, or it suffocates the healthy bugs. A lot of areas will measure the bugs in the creeks, and that's how they can tell how clean the water is, because certain bugs will die as pollution and silt levels rise. So, and then the problem is the silt will stay in the water, and it goes all the way to the Gulf and causes problems down there.
So all interconnected and can have that domino effect like you're talking about, pun intended, a ripple effect.
Exactly.
Really.
We're trying to save the dolphins here, Joe.
Gotcha. Everybody, we're talking with MS4 Coordinator Scott Calvert here on episode 170 of the Love in Lebanon podcast. How much of your job is education for these construction folks and residential folks? And when you're pointing out, hey, you can't dump, I know I saw a picture you posted on the Facebook page for MS4 Coordinator, and everybody should follow that page because it's got great information on there. But somebody was dumping paint down, or someone had dumped paint in our storm drain and posted that as obviously a no-no. But how much of your job is educating the public of, oh wait, I didn't realize I wasn't supposed to put that down there? How much of it is an educational piece?
That is a big part also, and that is one of the mandates we have from the state and EPA is our educational outreach programs, and just teaching people what shouldn't go in the drains. And I'll admit that's a frustrating part of my job at sometimes. Why a grown-up would pour paint in a storm drain in the middle of an intersection? I mean, pollution's been a problem. Pollution's been known in this country since the 70s. So we're talking 50 years of trying to educate the public on not throwing trash out in the street, pouring paint in storm drains, pouring drywall mud in storm drains.
Oh, it's common sense. You would think.
You would think.
You would think.
Yes. And so that's a frustrating part for me. I mean, so this year, last year we started really ramping up our educational materials. We brought out a coloring book, crayons, and a bookmarker, and we've been handing those out to the children at Touch of Trucks and these events. This year, we've stepped it up. I've got an activity book for the older kids, and now we've released a book for adults to learn about storm drains, because it's probably not the 6-year-old that's pouring leftover house paint in the storm drain in the middle of the road. So.
But you're wanting to get them while they're young, too, and trying to create some good habits for those kiddos. And some of the ones that have taken tours here, everybody, from the elementary schools and things, Scott and his team, Parker, have been out helping to educate the kiddos. You want to get them young. You want to get them, as they're a bit older. And then, obviously, as adults, too, you guys are really having a kind of a wide educational piece that you're rolling out there to be able to keep our public informed and create good habits, whether they be young or a bit older.
Exactly. And then that brings up the other side of that is that we also trying to train our contractors to do the right thing too. So this year was exciting. With our neighboring communities, we created the Boone County Partnership for Water Quality. This is to foster cooperation, and it also allows the entities, the MS4 entities, to share costs and time by working together on our permit-required activities. So we held our first annual contractors workshop in February. We had over 70 people attend. We had a great turnout. There was a lot of good knowledge shared, questions answered. And I'd like to point out this is a combined effort between Boone County, the city of Whitestown, Zionsville, and then, of course, Lebanon here. So we'll be doing it again next year. And hopefully we'll just keep growing it, and everyone that we can teach will help.
How does it make you feel to be able to take these steps? Because this isn't your first rodeo, your first year with the city of Lebanon. You feel like that educational piece is growing, and does it help to be able to have like-minded folks and nearby municipalities all kind of teaming up and entities teaming up for this cause to be able to get the word out and to be able to kind of have a strength in numbers approach to it all?
Oh, definitely. And we've been able, fortunately, this year to focus on the education side more. We've got the construction sites going well. That was kind of a first priority, is to work on that when I got here, and also just to get our program going better, meeting all our requirements. And then now we've been able to turn more effort towards education. So it feels good, yeah.
Yeah, nice. If people want to get more information, if they want the coloring books and they aren't able to get to the Touch of Trucks and different events like that, or they're an adult and want that reading material to become educated, easiest way, your office is located, everybody, out right across the street from the Holiday Inn Express. You guys are in the Department of Public Works facility out there, nice new building. People can stop by and get it from you, Lana, or anybody else that's there, Jason and the gang?
Yes, they can come right into the front door while they're dropping off there. We're also the recycling point for the city, and all the bins now are multi-use, so you just put your materials, no trash, obviously, in any of the bins, and then come on into the office. Lana will be happy to help you. She loves handing out stuff to the kids. She's pretty much the one putting our packets together, and she can give you a packet, and you'll be good to go.
And if people see someone that I know you posted and weren't able to track down whoever dumped the paint in the drain and that type of thing, if people see that type of thing, can they report it through code enforcement or other avenue to be able to not maybe get somebody in trouble, but at the same time prevent it from happening in their community?
Correct. We have there's a report a polluter. It's on our website, and I want to bring that up to the website. This guy, Joe, runs it. It's really great. I have about, 6-7 pages on there on MS4, and There's even a page for HOAs about taking care of your ponds. But on every page there, my phone number's on there for report a polluter. You can call and leave a message at any time, and I respond to those within 24 hours, and that's how we stop pollution.
And they're great videos on there too. And you've really done a really good job with the city employees having us all catch up on our education. There are videos that you can watch, everybody, that talk about blue-green algae. What the heck is it? Why is it such a big deal? And really helping to see what the fuss is about. And for good reason. All those materials are there for folks to be able to check out and get fully educated and aware of this whole process.
Yeah, I mean, every resident in the city is responsible for what goes in the storm drains. And so if we can educate each person and everyone do their part, then we will have clean water for the future.
Yeah. Like I said, this is why bringing you on was so important, I feel like, right now, because as the storms and the weather is warming up, people need to really be re-educated on this whole process. And I'm guessing this is kind of your busy time, your hot button time of year?
It is definitely. I mean, it's the building time. It's the rainy time. So, yeah, definitely busy these days. Fantastic.
Everybody get informed. And I'll put all the information, the website links and things that Scott has been referencing on our on the body of this podcast here. Scott, appreciate you being here on the podcast. Anything else we need to know before we say goodbye?
I think we've covered everything, Joe. I appreciate the time and the availability to get this information out to the public. And if anyone has any questions, please don't hesitate to call me and or email me, however, whatever works for you. Come see me, and we'll get your questions answered and keep this train rolling.
Fantastic info. Everybody, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Love in Lebanon podcast. Be aware, be informed, and keep listening right here. More episodes are coming your way. Take care.